have become a victim. You have been consumed by Selexi. They have taken your soul, swallowed it whole, and made it part of their flesh. You wonder, what is it like inside of them? What fate awaits you when you are consumed by them? Is it bleak nothingness? Eternal torment? Or is it something more? When you are consumed, your body becomes pale and gray, and becomes so skinny to the point of anorexia. Your soul pours out from your body like a shadowy mist, almost like a ghostly air as it enters Selexi's mouth as they inhale deeply, and their body glows with a radiance of magenta as they gain power from your soul. When you see your vision fade into their mouth, instead of seeing a normal, fleshy, human-like esophagus, you instead see a tunnel of light, a tunnel of all kinds of radiant colors, but at the very bottom there is a black abyss of nothing. You fall deeper and deeper, faster and faster, thinking, this is it, this is the end of my life. I shall never know any more pain, joy, or anything ever again, as I close my eyes forever. But this was not to be so. For life, it seems, even in this bleak existence, had one last test for you. Darkness veils your eyes and dulls all your senses as you fall all the way down. There is nothing. Silence. This is it, is it? The end? But then there is the sound of birds chirping. Why birds? Why am I still persisting, you ask? I died, went to hell, then fell off the edge of the rings, then died to Selexi, and where could I possibly be this time? It is a sight to behold. A lush, beautiful forest, vibrant and so colorful, filled with flowers, each more beautiful than the last. You stood upon a shallow river that only goes past your ankles. It is so clear and clean, so pure, you look down upon it and you can see your reflection in it. The sand underneath it is so soft and so clear. It is as if you are walking upon the smoothest beach sand you've ever walked upon, with small grains of silver in it as it shines looking back at you. You walk upon this river as if it is some kind of path leading you to your ultimate destiny. It feels so nice, so calm, walking through this place, as the sand goes between your toes and the water splashes about your ankles, and the air just feels so nice, just the right level of both cold and hot, and just the right level of wind for it to slightly graze you without blowing you down. Everything here seems so perfect. Various hellhounds, imps, angels, humans are seen in the distance in white, silky togas, running and playing, giggling and laughing, having the time of their lives, as if they don't even have a care in the world. Is this the promised afterlife? Is this heaven? Is this the place that religion constantly talks about, of where you're going to go when you die? Are you finally at peace once and for all? This is such a beautiful realm, yet it still feels unnatural. As you walk upon this path, eventually you see two hellhounds in the distance, one armed with a sword, the other armed with an axe. It looks like they're in some kind of heated argument. They fight each other, but it seems almost playful even, as they laugh at each other, clashing blades. One with the sword impales the other straight through the chest, but yet there is no blood, and the other does not flinch. All they do is they laugh, and they make jokes back at them. They then take their axe and decapitate the other hellhound, and yet there is no blood, barely any flinching or any pain. That hellhound just picks up their head and puts it back on as if it was nothing. The other allows the other hellhound to pull their sword out from their chest and continue their little fight. And you wonder, that is most certainly not normal. They're just cleaving and killing each other as if it's nothing. And nothing's happening to them. They feel no pain. You got distracted and you tripped, fell over, and hit your head onto a rock. But you felt no pain. In fact, it even tickled a little bit. Normally, if you did that on Earth or in Hell, you would have a horrible concussion. You'd be bleeding and feeling intense pain. That is definitely not normal. And now you're starting to understand what this realm is. You are smart enough to realize that this is a false reality, fabricated probably by Selexi. There is no way you'd be seeing angels, hellhounds, and imps together in one place, getting along as if it was no big deal. And there's no way you'd not be feeling at least some kind of pain from that fall. And especially watching those hellhounds literally kill each other and get back up laughing as if it's no big deal. This is definitely not a realm that is normal. Nothing in the conventional sense of heaven or hell, at least. But you almost wonder, is that a bad thing? You begin to theorize and have the philosophy with yourself, wondering, is it worth being in a world that's real but filled with pain and agony? Or is it worth it being in a realm that you know is false, but is devoid of all its suffering? And so you sit there for hours, thinking very hard about this. At one point you pace around in a circle. Another you keep wandering around in the forest, looking up at the trees, thinking. At another point you climb up a tree, sitting on its branches looking up at the sky and its glorious radiance. Still thinking. Still thinking. You know that you are a prisoner to Selexi, but yet this prison is oh so lovely. A real paradise, devoid of all suffering and away from all the rules of heaven. But it's still false. None of it is real. And you wonder, is it worth it to fight this power and to try and escape, returning back to your normal life? But then you wonder, is this freedom even worth it if you have to once again spend your life running and fighting and trying to struggle and fight for a better life, when technically it's already here? Should you stay here, knowing that it's fake, but knowing that your pain is over? Is it really worth it to return to a realm of reality, knowing that it's real, if it means suffering for all time yet again? Or is it worth it to just give in to this false paradise and be free of your pain forever? As you sit there and you contemplate these thoughts, the air starts to get a bit colder. You feel a presence nearby. You get down from the tree and look all around, wondering what could possibly be here. thinking it's probably just a figment of your imagination. But then, you hear that voice again.
I knew you had a little bit more fight in you. You don't know what to do from here, do you? Oh, such a dilemma. Such drama. It is oh so delicious. Is this not what you wanted? Is this not an end to your pain? All of those who reside inside of me found their final end. The paradise that was promised to them by God and was denied to them at every turn. Even the redeemed who go to heaven are subject to their rules, or will suffer the consequences of what will happen if they are banished. Here, there are no rules. There is no laws to follow, only your own.
You shout and protest back to them, asking them what is this place, and why is it like this? Why do you even need to consume souls in the first place? Why me?
Why you? Why not even? It is always those who face such great adversity who look up to the sky and scream the words, "Why me?" The pain and suffering of this universe is not bias. As to the why I do this, I require souls as nourishment to keep me alive. I gain no power from it. I am a walking black hole of life, raw entropy made manifest. I am entropy itself. All those titles that my corpse likes to flaunt about, such as the Tempter Lord, mean nothing and are mere disguises of what I really am. I am a walking black hole, a wound in life. And I, one day, will find a way to make my wound closed and whole again. But that is a story for another time. As for you, you are granted a choice. You can go ahead and fight me, perhaps even succeed, but you'll end up back in the Void Realm again, to go through that horrible entropy once again. Maybe even survive me and go back to hell, to return back to your mundane life. But to spend all of eternity, day in and day out, wondering where you're gonna get your next meal from, and wondering when you'll ever get to a point of significance, of peace, of a time where you feel no suffering. Or you could just stay here. In here, your suffering has already come to an end. If I wanted to, I could turn this realm into a horrifying torture prison and torture you for all existence. But I find that pointless. I would rather have souls in me that are complacent. I offer you the world. I offer you a pure, true, genuine paradise where you can do anything you want, have anything you want, do anything you want, for all time. I offer this gift to you. Will you throw it back into my face? Will you deny this peace I've granted you? All because you just want to go back to what you perceive as Let it be finished. Let us have you make your ultimate and final choice, the one that will matter for you for all eternity. Bear in mind, there is no going back from here. This truly is the end of all life. Will you stay here and embrace this peace? Will you fight me to try and escape and return to your mundane existence? Or is there something more you think you can get out of this? Pathetic little fool. What exactly is waiting for you out there? If it's some lover you want to see one last time before you die, then that is respectable. But if you're resisting me, refusing this lovely gift I've given you, all so you can go back to your normal day in and day out, the usual suffering, the normal mundane, just because it's quote-unquote real, then you are a fool. But I'll tell you what. I'll give you 1 year. 1 year in hell. Go back to your pathetic mundane existence. See what exactly you'd be fighting for. After that month is over, you'll be back here. Inside of me. You cannot escape me after being consumed by me. But I want to at least entertain your thought and find out what exactly is driving you to want to leave such a paradise to go back to that. But fine. Go. Prove to me that it is a life worth living.
And so, with a wave of their hand, they return you to hell. You stand upon the streets in a flash, as if nothing happened. Your arm feels a little strange as you look at it, and you see that there is now a stopwatch permanently fused to your flesh that is now counting down 1 year. You now have 1 year to prove to Selexi that this is a life worth living. And so you get to work. First, you return to your home, a simple apartment, and you go back to your normal job as you were before, as if you never even fell off the edge of the rings of hell to enter the void realm. And so you work, trying to make enough money to do something more worthwhile or fulfilling in your life, thinking that that would be the way of doing it. But you end up realizing that all you're doing is doing the same old thing, day in and day out, with no real progression. You go to work, you work for several hours, you return home, immediately fall asleep, only to wake up to go to work again. As the cycle rinses and repeats forever, never making enough money to truly progress, but only enough just to survive. You look upon that clock on your wrist, You realize you've wasted too much time doing the same old thing day in and day out with no real progress, and so in your frustration, you quit, yell at your boss, and leave immediately in a grand fashion. You go on vacations, you enjoy all your vices, hell, you even murder, perhaps even rob a bank, do anything that you can to enjoy life and all the great highs you chase. But then you realize you could be doing the exact same thing in Selexi's paradise realm they were offering you. So how is this any different? You scream in your mind, gripping your hair between your fingers as you shake your head back and forth, wondering what is it that reality can offer that the false paradise Selexi was offering cannot do? What is it that it could offer other than the fact that it is real? It is then you become more of a philosopher, a hermit. You quit your job, you abandon the society of hell, you wander around the rings, thinking, wondering, what is it that reality can offer that truly makes the difference? What is it about this place that truly matters? And then it hits you at that very pivotal moment when you only had a few months left, barely even 2 months left to go, is simply for the fact that it is real. In this world, you can make true and genuine connections with people. You can manipulate the world around you and change history, becoming either famous or simply by being a part of it. Selexi's paradise realm that they offer is stagnant in nature. It only offers you all of the things you want in life, all the good things you want, be they wholesome or twisted. But if everything in life was nothing but what you wanted without any adversity, that means that there is nothing to give all the good times meaning, to give it purpose or context. Suffering gives good times meaning. If a man was dying of thirst and they're feeling the pain of dehydration, and they thus satisfy and cleanse this pain by drinking cold water, and they feel the cool, refreshing feeling of their throat no longer being dehydrated, it is because they have cleansed this horrid feeling, and now they're feeling joy for no longer feeling the agony. You realize this now, as you only have but 1 month left to live, and you feel like you have failed this test. So, you spend whatever time you can, getting joy out of this life, probably trying to change someone else's life for the better, as best as you can at least. And upon that final day, you stare up at the sky of hell, waiting for Selexi to claim their prize. Your body disintegrates into dust, you feel no pain, and your vision passes as you turn right back into the little paradise realm Selexi has made for you, as they stand before you, as if you didn't even leave, as they stand there waiting to hear your little reports back to them. But they already watched you. They saw everything you were doing. And so, they give you their assessment.
Yes. It is as I expected. You lived your life the way I was expecting you to, with 1 year remaining. You didn't exactly prove to me it was a life worth living. But you did in fact prove to me one thing. You're at least not as stupid as the rest of the people I've eaten. You at least were able to figure out the one biggest flaw of this paradise realm that I offer all the denizens I consume. And so, it left me to think that you're a bit too valuable to just leave in here. Maybe I may take this soul of yours and give you a new body, a new purpose. But before we do that, I need to know more of you. Let us sit down and whisper together, you and I. you would pick this. I knew you would pick eternal peace, and I don't say that from a sense of smugness or self-proclaimed victory, but because I understand why. You are but a mortal who has lived at least 3 whole lifetimes, and you finally wanted to end at last. To receive the paradise that was denied to you by God long, long ago. This promised paradise for being a good person was snatched away from you solely because you couldn't meet their impossible standards. Well, now it's here. It is yours. Yours for the taking. Think not about if it's real or not. Think more of the thought that you are free now. Go, my child. Be free at last.
And so, happily, you stay within this paradise, enjoying all the things it can offer you. Anything that you imagined became reality, everything you've ever wanted. You knew it was fake, but at this point, you didn't care anymore. You were happy, at last, free from all the pain and suffering of the world, not having a care in the universe. You get to meet some of the other imps, hellhounds, sinners, and even angels who were also consumed by Selexi, who also gave in to this paradise. All of you, together, in harmony, live in this peaceful universe, knowing all full well that it's not real, but no one seems to care. Everyone just lays down in the grass, looking up at the starry sky with a smile on their face, knowing that it's all over now. They can finally rest at last. Who knows what exactly Selexi is doing with their souls at this time? If they are just but batteries inside of them, as long as they do not feel any suffering, as long as they don't have to go back into the normal mundane life, they didn't care. For them, the struggle was over. In this realm, there are no days to count. There are no months, no years, no night sky, no morning rise, just eternity forever. You imagine the sunlight coming up, and thus it does. You imagine seeing the moonlight sky, and there it is. You imagine your favorite meal in front of you, and thus it appears. You imagine anything that you want to do or have or eat or drink, and thus it is there. With 0 consequences, no need to struggle for it. It's simply there. Because you have lived more than 2 full lifetimes, once on Earth and then in Hell, you enjoy this for quite some time, for what feels like years. It is the most happy-go-lucky moments of your entire life, no longer having to suffer anymore. Though this goes on, and on, and on, and on, day in and day out, you're able to at least get some more enjoyment out of it through forming relationships with the other souls in this realm, mortals, angels, demons, what have you, and it helps the days go by, but eventually, you become bored. It becomes tiresome after a while, and thus you think, is this paradise truly worth it? Was there something more you could have gotten out of life? Was there something Selexi was trying to teach you? Whatever it was, it's lost to time, as if time even matters to you anymore. You look upon them with a very serious and saddened scowl on your face, of where you simply tell them, End my existence. To which they retort,
End it? But why? This is the peaceful paradise you've been promised for so long. This is the end to your suffering. Why not just lay down and...
You interrupt them, and you tell them that would this mean that you'd be living yet another life all over again? You have lived more lifetimes than any soul ever has for one existence, and you tell them that sure, they could embrace this peaceful afterlife and live a life of joy for all eternity forevermore. But eventually, as time goes on, without anyone to share it with, without anyone there with you that you care deeply for, to embrace such a lovely existence, in the end, this paradise will become as empty and as hollow as the life you left behind you. That this beautiful prison will become nothing more than ashes in their hands. You go on. Is life only just to seek highs, to seek out happiness that fulfills us for but a brief moment, maybe even a few days or so, only to go and find yet another one, forever and ever, seeking that new high to give you meaning in that lifetime? What is the point of seeking out all of these frivolous, joyous moments if it means you can't have someone there with you to experience them all the time? Without anyone on that kind of personal level, your life will become nothing more than just a slothful, decadent life of fulfilling personal vices that just make you feel good and nothing more. And it may be fine for a while, perhaps even a few years. You will enjoy it greatly, but eventually it will not satisfy you anymore, and eventually you will want an end to it all, knowing that there is no other afterlife beyond this one. You are not suicidal, and you don't rush to your death, but you also know and realize that all good things have to come to an end at some point. You ask them, give me but 1 year in this world, and then after that year is over, I want you to end my existence and consume what is left of me. Do not leave me in this gilded, beautiful cage for all time. I simply want to enjoy it as best as I can, and then finally close my eyes at last. The creature before you for once frowns and thinks about what you said, about how they themselves almost think these same thoughts, wondering why do they even continue to consume souls just to carry on. They know they have their grand destiny ahead of them. They know that there is much for them to do left before they die. But sometimes they envy these creatures because the great struggle is coming to an end for them. And this one understands them on this deep of a level.
I have thought about this for many an eon, you know. What it would be like to close your eyes forever. I envy you, you know. You at least have the clairvoyance of realizing what it means to live. We do not hastily rush to our deaths. Life is precious, and we will embrace and enjoy every second of it before our life comes to an end. And so, you do not become suicidal, but you start to find true meaning in your life, something to make it a life worth living. Some do it through fame and fortune, some do it through power, but truly genuine people do it through love and the connections you make with other people. The life you leave behind you, the lives you change, the environment that changes because you existed. Even if you can't fix the world, even if you can't change the world forever, at the very least, before you die, you should try to change the lives of those around you. And this is high and mighty, coming from me of all people. I have thought of these things for many a year now. But my time is not over yet. I still have much to do left. As for you, I will gladly grant you your final year. Enjoy everything that my paradise realm can give you, and after that year, you will have the peace you want. Go now, and take whatever you can from life, before you cannot anymore.
And so, with tears in your eyes and a big smile on your face, you wander off into the mystical forests of this false paradise to live whatever you can with whatever time you have left. You frolic through the fields, hand in hand with other people who have been consumed in this realm, not telling them what is to befall you, for you would rather they not know if they end up becoming close to you, because you don't want them to tell you to stop. You simply just want to enjoy the time you have with them, not to worry or to get into philosophical debates about what it means to live. You sit around campfires with them, enjoy meals, stories, stare up at the sky, and wonder of the meaning of life. You live this life oh so peaceful and filled with much joy. You gain many friends, you fall in love, and then, as the time finally comes, when all those that you are surrounded with look upon you with smiles on their faces and loving you so much that you finally pass into nothing, where your body turns to dust and you fade away, all of them shocked and in terror, wondering what happened to you and why did you pass on. But for you, it is for the best. This is what it means to have a full and complete life at last, of where the cycle finally ends.